Hey, it's Between the Pipes. It's Altitude Sports Radio social media channels. That's where we're at. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, X, the whole shebang. Avs lose tonight. I am Mark Springer. I am going to be writing with you of the solo variety tonight. Alex Ryan-Emmy is sick. He hopes to be back for the morning sprint tomorrow, 10 to noon on Altitude 92.5. So I'll take you through this one. You guys can be my co-host tonight. You can leave comments. I see the little comment tab up here. Y'all can chime in. Let me know what you think as the Avs 17-game home win streak comes to an end tonight. All three home losses at home this season are after regulation. And last time they lost at home was Thursday, October 23rd to the Carolina Hurricanes, a.k.a. the Hartford Whalers. Avs came back in that game. Trent Miner came in that game. It all comes full circle with Trent Miner. I thought Trent Miner was excellent tonight. Given, that he's an AHL goalie, I thought he was great. And it was a really good game. But, all the way since October 23rd, they'd won every single home game since. Feels like that first Nordiques Whalers game was eons ago. We saw that same matchup in Carolina recently. Avs got revenge. Maybe they'll get revenge in Toronto later this season. Let's see. They go to Toronto end of this month, Sunday, January 25th. That'll be a 11:30 a.m. Mountain puck drop on a Sunday. And then they lost at home, their third game of the season, their second home game of the season. They lost to the Dallas Stars 5-4 in a shootout. So shootout lost 5-4 to the Stars. Shootout lost 5-4 to the Hurricanes. Overtime lost 4-3 here tonight. Those are your three home losses for the Avs. Still have not been beaten in regulation at home this season. And I was thinking about that as, Toronto took a 3-2 lead in this game. Austin Matthews with a hell of a snipe beat Trent Miner. And I did start thinking, I was like, okay, who's going to do it? Who's going to be the first team this year to come in and beat the Avs in regulation in their building? It's going to happen this season. It's probably going to happen. I mean, that happens. That happens to teams. Like I got to imagine every single team has a home regulation loss this season. I can say that with like 99.99% certainty, right? I mean, I guess I can't confirm that right now, but that's got to be. And so the Avs will sustain one at some point. I want to say this about the Toronto Maple Leafs, okay? I said that they would miss the playoffs to start the season. And it's so tough, making these preseason predictions, but Raj wants to do it. It's fun. I thought, hey, you lose Mitch Marner, you always leave. Maybe this was just going to be a season where Toronto kind of regress, but they're playing very well of late. They've now won 4 straight. They have won 6 of 7. They have won 8 of 10. They've won 8 of their last 10. That's actually a pretty good team. And you want to know what's funny about them? Their goaltender, Joseph Woll, it's pretty good. He got brought up on this show recently. Like, I think they actually kind of finally have a goaltender. Came into tonight with a .921 save percentage, 2.52 goals against. Improves to 11-4-2 on the season. 27 years old. 3rd round pick of the Leafs in 2016. He's good. I like him. Toronto was like Edmonton for years. Like, could they find a goalie? Lo and behold, right when Marner leaves, I think they found a goalie. He was really good tonight. Trent Miner was really good. Let's see, he got 41 starts last year. Save percentage 909. Yeah, I noticed him the past couple years. He's good. Austin Matthews is really good. Certainly as a goal scorer. Yeah, that snipe he had was money. He did commit a penalty late in this game, a trip on Marty Necas, and I thought that was a really bad defensive play from Austin Matthews. Like he goes down, Necas beats him, and he just keeps his stick out there, and it trips Marty Necas. Gave the Avs a power play. This game tied at 3 now, as Marty Necas scored to tie this game at 3. Nice pass from Nathan McKinnon to find Necas net front. Necas net front. You like to see that. But the Avs did get a power play, full 2 minutes late in regulation, and could not score. They did get a power play goal tonight. Brock Nelson scored 5 seconds in. I guess that's one way to score on the power play is win the faceoff, have a nice little design play, or as designed as it can be, and get a shot off 5 seconds in. Then you don't have to set anything up because the Avs have not been great in the setup this year. So just score right off the draw. And that's what Brock Nelson did. Brock Nelson won that faceoff. And then the puck found him in the slot. And Brock Nelson, I think I saw, what is it? I think it's 19 goals in his last 28 games. Holy crap. Brock Nelson. He is on fire. No, I don't want to hear my own voice as I turn on, just freaking hit my phone. Thank you. Can't pause my mic with Raj not here. Brock Nelson. That was good. Marty Necas was excellent tonight. Talked about his goal. Cale Makar scored early. What a move by Necas. Little harsh spinorama, something like that. Just put on the brakes. I think it was Bobby McCann's whose ankle he broke. Man, Marty Necas. That was a heck of a move. And then he finds Makar in the slot, and Makar scores. So those are your 3 Avs goals. Unfortunately, Toronto scored 3 of their own, and then it came down to overtime. And all right, yeah, let's talk about this final sequence in overtime because that was a wild one and an interesting way that Toronto ends this game. So the Avs get a little breakout late in overtime. And I thought the Avs were better and more dangerous overall in overtime. And Necas gets the puck on the right wing. Avs have numbers. He finds McKinnon. He has a look, does Necas, but he knows McKinnon's trailing him. And it's a great pass by Necas. What a shot by McKinnon. Beats Joseph Woll. He did not get the same bar down that Austin Matthews got. How did that Nathan McKinnon shot not go in? What a rocket from Nathan McKinnon. Thought the game was over right there. Puck goes down the other way. And there are some tired Avs on the ice, including Arturi Lehkonen. So Lehkonen gets the puck, gets it to McKinnon, who I'm going to assume is back on the ice, came off and is back on now. Because Lehkonen was dead tired. McKinnon was not. But because Lehkonen is dead tired, he's slowly skating to the bench. Avs crowd, Ball Arena crowd comes to their feet. McKinnon's holding the puck. He's waiting for Lehkonen to go off. Energy's up. They know the Avs almost just won this thing. They're looking for 18 straight at home. Avs have gotten the momentum back, tying the game up, playing better in overtime than Toronto. McKinnon takes the puck up ice, makes an outlet pass. Oh, who came on? Was it Necas? I mean, this game just ended. I haven't even had a chance to rewatch the final goal, but McKinnon forces a pass after he has to wait for like 5 seconds for Lehkonen to get off the ice. Turnover. Matthews gets it far side. Little off the wall pass to, look it up. I know Matthews had the pass. Oliver Ekman Larson. Hey, good veteran D-man. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He had 2 assists tonight. Who finds Nylander, and Miner slides to try to make the save. Tries to cover the 5-hole with his goalie pad, or excuse me, goalie stick. And he can't do it. It's a good low shot by Nylander. Game over. Leafs win. So, my big takeaway there is McKinnon forcing that pass, which is a shame because he damn near almost ended that thing. I'll give Nathan McKinnon a ton of credit, though. He hustled his ass back because he saw that Nylander on the right side was ahead of the lone D-man back, who was keying in on Ekman-Larsson. He knew he had to get back to that far side. So, yes, it was Nathan McKinnon who slid in trying to stop that shot. It was too late, but Nate busted his ass. And I've heard, we talked about that. Somebody brought up in the chats, like, someone had brought up, maybe multiple people, that Nathan McKinnon doesn't care in 3-on-3 overtime. He doesn't hustle back sometimes. No, he gave it his all there. Okay, Peter says Nichushkin was the one who came on. Okay, so he forced the pass to Nichushkin. Either way, it was whoever came on, as apparently was Nichushkin, was covered. And I mean, I wonder, that crowd getting amped up. Nate's just standing there waiting. There's plenty of time left in overtime. But he just got a little fired up, I think, did Nate. Like, all right, I got to get Lekkonen's off finally. Okay, go, make a play. Whoops, it's not there. You want to circle back in that 3-on-3 overtime. If nothing's there, you want to circle back and make sure you maintain possession. You do not want to force anything unless you're deep in the O zone in 3-on-3 overtime. So there you go. That's how they lose the 2 points, but they do get 1 point. And I think Toronto's good. I'm going to be dead wrong that they missed the playoffs. Like, this is sneaky solid team. Raj brought up to me a couple weeks ago the rumor that Pete DeBoer could be taking over for Craig Berube, and lo and behold, they've won 8 of 10. And I do think, okay, yeah, they lose Marner, but they traded for Brandon Carlo at the deadline last year from Boston. Young guys of their own have stepped up, like a Matthew Nyes, and they got this 20-year-old kid out there, Easton Cohen. He scored the first goal of the game for Toronto, his 7th of the season. Now, it went off of Brent Burns' skate, but hey, that's what you get when you throw pucks net front, even in the corner. This kid's 20 years old. He was a late first-round pick, I believe, last year. So you got to start, if it feels like a little bit of a transitional era for the Leafs, but you can mask that if you get decent, quick returns on young players. And they're pretty solid, when you're not investing a lot of money in it because you're already paying Matthews. I think Tavares finally, that contract came up, but he did re-sign, but at a much cheaper clip. So they're a little more spread out. Bobby McCann, who scores that breakaway goal. I know that he got absolutely twisted into a pretzel by Marty Natchez, but Bobby McCann has 14 goals on the season. You need production from players like that. Or was it Jake McCabe that he put into a pretzel? It might have been McCabe. Either way. 14th goal of the season for Bobby McCann. And, that breakaway goal right there in and of itself. Olofsson kind of has this puck, handcuff him at the blue line. I might have been Colton trying to feed it up to him. Someone was feeding it up to Olofsson. Gerard and was it Solovyov or Malinsky? I know Gerard was one of them. Yes, cue your Sam Gerard hate. They split a little too wide, and McCann just races through him. And it's a good finish to beat Trent Miner. And I think, look, you look at the goals that were scored tonight. The one I just mentioned, the Matthews snipe, nobody's stopping that. Patrick Waugh, his prime, isn't stopping that. And then the Cohen centering shot off of Brent Burns' skate. Trent Miner had a really good game tonight. 27 saves, does give up 4 goals, but he had a good game. Scott Wedgwood out again. Berto was telling me in the pregame that maybe he's sick or just a tick banged up. Let me see here. Wedgwood on Twitter. Tiny bit banged up, said Jared Bednar earlier today. There's a lot of illness going around too. So he's not sick, just a tiny bit banged up. Okay. Because I was expecting Scott Wedgwood to start tonight, but that was not the difference. Because Miner started against Columbus, but it was not the difference. I would think, does Wedgwood make the McCann breakaway save? Maybe. That first goal, though, that's just going to slip through any goalie. The Matthews goal is beating anybody. That was a really nice play by McCann on the breakaway. No, I don't think Wedgwood's a difference. I don't think he's a difference in this game. Shout out to Toronto. That's a solid team. I think they'll be in the playoffs. And you don't want to commit too much money to... I mean, this was Toronto's problem for years with Tavares, Matthews, and Marner. Depth matters. It does. Avs have had a little bit of a depth issue in recent years. And the Avs are going to be in a tricky situation when Makar is due for his extension in the summer. What's he going to get? 15 mil? To be completely honest with you, I think he deserves more than Kirill. I think he's better than Kirill Kaprizov. I don't think that's, I don't know, maybe Minnesota fans would argue otherwise or some weird people, but no, Cale Makar's the better player. He could get like $18 million. What does that do to your cap? I know that the cap goes up, but still. Like the Avs are in a decent spot because Makar's making $9. I think it's $9-ish million. McKinnon's like $12.5-ish million. And McKinnon's their only player north of $10 million. Like Toronto, I think it was all three of them, Matthews, Tavares, and Marner, were right around 10 or higher. So if Toronto can continue to develop their young player and not young players and not go so top heavy like they were in years past. And Berube's a good coach. He's taken teams from the cellar to better pastures before. He did it with the Blues. It's a good thing they didn't fire him. It really is. That's an impressive win by them, even though it was in overtime. Only the third team this season to do that. And they played real well. It's still a tough league. You know, you're not going to win every game. And teams get hot. You catch a team at the wrong time. If you caught Toronto a month ago, it's probably a win. But you catch them right now? Okay. And the Avs will have 3 days off now. They will have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday off. They will host Nashville on Friday. I heard Marty Necas's first intermission interview with Rachel Taz on the broadcast tonight. And he said, like, yeah, this is a big game. This is a big game for us because we have 3 days off. So if we get this one, we have ample time to rest. At least now I'm filling in the rest of his thought. He said it was a big game. I'm going to assume something along the reasons of because they have, time to give it your all tonight. You can give it your all in this one. You can go all out because you got 3 days to rest. But now a little bit of reflection time for Colorado. Where did they go wrong? Now they'll have a chip on their shoulder for Friday night against Nashville. I mean, this team hasn't even come close to losing 2 straight at home. I mean, they just won 17 straight at home. They're going to lose 2 straight at home? Beyond regulation or not? And it's Nashville, a team that beat you in their building. You had previously gotten some revenge for that. You beat Nashville a few days later. Nashville's one of your handful of losses, and they're going to be coming in here with you coming off a loss. You hope and you assume that with Scott Wedgwood, he was on the bench. He was the backup goalie tonight. that he's starting against Nashville on Friday. Shout out to Trent Miner. I thought he did a great job in his appearances here with Blackwood out. But a little bit of relief to have Wedgwood in net, who's been one of the best goaltenders this season, on Friday. And then next week, who knows? Maybe Blackwood's back next week. Could be. They got 3 more at home next week. It's a long-ass homestand. The dream of going 7-0-0 died tonight. But you can still hang. This is what I love about hockey. You're still unbeaten in regulation at home on this homestand. Still unbeaten in regulation. So how about 6-0-1? You can still shoot for 6-0-1. 5-0-2. Would you take 5-0-2? Or are your standards so high right now that even 5-0-2 is no good? What about 5-1-1? Who could do it? Who's the most likely team on this homestand the rest of the way to beat them in regulation? Nashville, Washington, Anaheim, Philly. You tell me. Who do you think is the most likely team to beat the Avs in regulation, which would be the first team this year to come into ball and beat these guys in regulation? Man, Toronto was close, up 3-2 in the third period, late. All right, got a couple votes for Philly coming in here. See, Philly's the last one, but it's not like a road trip where you get tired, you're trapped. Like if it's a 7-game road trip and you're on a plane, you're on all these planes, different cities, traveling can be a little hectic, late flights. Yeah, game 7 gets a little dicey, but when you're at home, it's just another game. Sleeping in your own bed. Because, I mean, you are playing one of these every other night or so. So even though Philly's solid. Avs won in Philly earlier this year. And I feel like they were undermanned that day. Maybe it was the second day of a back-to-back and they got really gassed in the third. That's what it was, but held on to win. No back-to-back on this one, and you're at home the entire time. I would go Washington or Anaheim. Nashville is sneaky, but this team's going to be pissed. Friday night, good weekend crowd. So I'm not going to go Nashville. I'd go Washington or Anaheim. If I were to pick between the two, I'd go Anaheim because they're just young and stupid enough that they don't care. Avs got them in Denver earlier this year when Anaheim was red hot and we're leading the Pacific and we're like the hot young team in the NHL, the surprise story. And then the Avs shut them up real quick. But that's still a good, young, talented Ducks team. Who they want to show they could come into Denver and that'd be a huge win. That'd be the win it's the win of the year for any team that does it. Benny says Anaheim is 1-8-1, I assume in their last 10. Is this their last 10 that you guys are talking about in the chat? Yeah, obviously Anaheim has dipped a little bit, but there is a reason that they got off to as good of a start as they did. And I really do like that team. Like, I picked them as a wild card team. It looks like that could be where they end up. Okay, Washington 4-5-1. Yeah, I mean, these teams are. I think Nashville actually might be playing the best hockey of any of these teams right now, which is funny enough. The team the Avs will see next. Philly was hot there for a sec, but now they've lost 3 in a row. So the hottest team is actually Nashville. I don't know what they are. They're 6-4-0 in their last 10. Feels a little better than that, actually. So convenient. I got it right here. And Philly 5-4-1, but have lost 3 in a row. Yeah, I'm going to go Anaheim 1, Washington 2, Nashville 3, but good luck playing this team after a loss at home. I'm going to go Philly 4, even though that's the last one. So still plenty of opportunities to get lots of points here. You get a point today. You got a 5 out of a possible first 6 on this homestand. And of course, they are ahead of the Dallas Stars. We got to check the Dallas Stars score. I mean, if the Stars are playing on the same night as the Avs, hell, if they played the night before, you're talking about what the Stars did because that's just what we do. Dallas won tonight, 3-1 at the Kings. So that'll cut. That's 1 point. They gained 1 point. All that work. Going to LA, decent little LA Kings team. Nothing special, but hey, you're on the road. Dallas has dropped some of late. 3-3-4 in their last 10. Oh, I love this last 10 column on the ESPN.com standings. Okay, let's see here now. That puts them 11 points back. That puts them 11 points back. All right, so they were 12 points back. Now they're 11 points back. You got an 11-point cushion. You do have a game in hand still, too. Minnesota lost tonight. Minnesota got crushed at home by the New Jersey Devils. And I think the Devils just lost like 9-0 in Long Island. But Jack Hughes is back. Jack Hughes did not score tonight, but it didn't matter. So if there was any world where, because look, Minnesota and Dallas were about tied the other night in the standings. And we're all Dallas. Yes, Dallas does have the better chance. I think they're a better team than Minnesota, but I think Minnesota's right there. Minnesota 13 points back. So if there was ever a world where Wild fans or anyone was like, hey, maybe the Wild could catch them, you didn't do yourself any favors tonight. So you're still in a great spot. 74 points on the year. Next closest in the NHL is the Stars with 63. You got 4 very winnable games coming up. Let's take a look at that road trip coming up for Colorado. Now I'm curious what they do after that. Okay, so then they'll play Toronto. That's the first game of this road trip after the homestand in Toronto. So right off the bat, I like that. I like that it's the first game because you're fresh. You haven't been traveling out east. So good chance for revenge on Sunday the 25th, and they're at Ottawa. They get 2 nights off, Monday, Tuesday off, Wednesday at Ottawa. Back-to-back, though, in Montreal, so that's tough. Saturday at Detroit, and Detroit almost blew it tonight to the Hurricanes, but ended up winning, I think, in overtime, 4-3. And Detroit leads the Atlantic. And Detroit, see, are they the best team in the NHL? They're tied with Carolina. I don't know who has that tiebreaker. Carolina has a game in hand on them. But I brought this idea up on the Blitz tonight. What about a Red Wings Avalanche Stanley Cup Finals? I mean, I don't know who's coming out of the East. The East in the NHL is kind of like the AFC in the NFL. I don't know who's coming out. I sure hope it's the Broncos, and it very well might be. What if Detroit came out? What if Colorado came out of the West? What if it was an Avs Red Wings Stanley Cup Finals? I don't know if Detroit's quite ready for that, but they are leading their division and tied atop their conference. So that'll be a fun game. They got to have juice, you know. And the only way to get juice between Avs and Wings nowadays, both teams have to be good. Both teams have to be good. And then it helps if, you know, somebody punches somebody in the face or something like that. But both teams have to be good. And when these teams meet, that'll be the last day of January in Detroit. And the Avs certainly aren't going to torpedo. That's going to be a tough road trip. They might drop a couple. Well, I hope they don't, because that would mean they either get swept in the back to back or lose in Toronto. But maybe one. But the Avs aren't going to fall too far at all. And they got a great bounce back factor, does Colorado too. I mean, they haven't lost back. No, they have lost back to back games back in October. They actually lost 4 straight. Can you believe that? That doesn't even feel real based on how good their record is. They lost 4 straight. Even if the Avs lost 4 straight right now, they'd still have like a 3-4 point lead on Dallas. But let's hope that doesn't happen, and there's no reason it should. Thought they played very well again tonight. They also will host Detroit 2 days later, first game of February in Denver. So a little home and home with the Red Wings. Little series for you, Avs and Wings. Maybe if some shenanigans go down in Detroit, there's some heat at Ball Arena. And for any of the kids who didn't grow up watching Avs Red Wings, there's been nothing like it since. Nothing. Those teams fucking hated each other. But that's a little bit down the road. That'll be at the end of the upcoming road trip. And then once they're back home, they still got 4 more at home. But overall, you look at that schedule and no way you're going under 500. Certainly with the 4 coming up at home. And that will be a tricky 4-game East Coast road trip. Ottawa's the weakest, but if they could get their, I don't know, was it that stupid rumor? What the hell's wrong with the Senators? They're better than this. So that's a tricky little 4-game trip. All the more reason to maximize your points right now. You know, because we're debating which one is the toughest, which one could do it. Let's be honest. None of them should, as long as the Avs bring their A game. You're going to have to play on the level Toronto did. And Toronto's hot. Toronto's playing well. Like maybe Anaheim can play on that level. That was a really high level that Toronto played at tonight. That's what you got to do. I don't think the Avs gave him much. Like you got to come in and you got to play at your highest level. You got to have some talent. You got to have a good roster, and then you have to play at your highest level to come into that building and win. And of course, like, I don't know, it's the type of Eastern Conference. Maybe the Leafs make it to the finals. Like, wouldn't that be something? After all these years, you know, where they were like kind of maybe a real contender, real-ish. They weren't really viewed as a contender or a true Stanley Cup contender this year. Wouldn't that be something that's the year that they came out of the East? And it's actually not impossible. But that, I know Kachuk will be back for the Panthers, but that Barkov injury really changes the East. It does kind of become a scenario where if the Panthers were fully healthy, that'd be my pick. But sans that, Detroit could, Toronto could, wouldn't shock me. And you can go with some, you know, hey, look, Panthers could still do it, Pants Party. Lightning have the pedigree. But I don't think it's a given. East is weird. You just saw Buffalo go on a 10-game win streak. East is weird. But that's what you got to do if you want to come into Denver and win. And, man, that to me was more impressive what Toronto did tonight than like what Carolina did earlier this season when they came in and won. Because the Avs fought back. They were down like 4-1 in that game. Avs storm back. And they lose in overtime. But Toronto, this was back and forth all night. That was a really good game. Really good game. Both teams played very well. I know it sounds like I'm giving out Capri Suns and orange slices after the Little League game, but seriously, like that was tip the cap. Someone was going to come in here eventually, and maybe a team that was a little unheralded, but just got hot at the right time and started to believe and feel themselves. And of course, like if this was a cup final, like yeah, there's no 3-on-3 overtime. And yeah, I mean, if you had to start Trent Miner in the Stanley Cup Finals, you would, and you'd actually feel okay about it. Would you feel okay about it? If Blackwood was hurt and Wedgwood was a little banged up. See, I think if Wedgwood was a little banged up, he would have played. Now, like I said, I don't think this impacted tonight's game, but that would certainly be odd if Wedgwood was a little banged up in the Stanley Cup Finals. But you went with Trent Miner. Hey, maybe Trent continues to get spot starts due to injuries and he proves himself worthy. Maybe Trent Miner could win a Stanley Cup in net for the Avs this year. We certainly, I mean, that would suck if it came to that because that would mean that the woodshed is out. That would be something. And hey, man, I was thinking this too, watching Joseph Wall play tonight, and how I think that just having a solid, reliable goaltender, and Wall's a younger guy coming into his prime, maybe like where Blackwood was a few years ago, even though Blackwood had some struggles. But what a difference it makes when you have a reliable goaltender. And we know that here, don't we? It changes everything. So Toronto can lose a Marner, and I do think maybe it makes them a little more well-rounded now and will probably make them more well-rounded in years to come if they don't, give out stupid money. But their issue for years was like Edmonton's, don't have a goalie. And when you have a goalie, it changes everything. I mean, what do they say in the playoffs? A hot goalie can carry you. We've seen hot goalies take 8 seeds. We talked about Jonathan Quick not too long ago. Can't remember if it was on this show or another show I did with Raj, but I brought up the 8 seed Kings and Jonathan Quick, and because we were talking about the idea that like a hot goalie can just carry you, and we've seen it. Like you can be a above average, solid team, but you don't have to be great. But if you have that goalie, and especially, and I'm talking about a 7-game series, just on any given night. Now let's take it all the way back to just one single regular season game, like tonight was. Because the Avs put Joseph Wall had some really nice saves. Like when they put up however the fuck many they put on the Senators, and Levi Marilainen goes out and Mad Sogard comes in, and then Marilainen comes back in, and the Senators, those are not great goaltenders. And a couple of the goals that Mad Sogard allowed, I was like, okay, hey, good for the Avs. I think they were both power play goals. Avs, by the way, up to 3 power play goals now on the homestand. They were 2 of 8 coming into tonight, and they are now 3 of 11. Okay. Keep in mind, so their 3 power play goals on this homestand were against 2 were against Mad Sogard, who's bless him coming into that catastrophe. It doesn't strike me as a great goaltender. And right off of a draw tonight, which, hey, good play all around by Brock Nelson and those who helped him out, but really Nelson was at the center of all of that, from winning the faceoff to shooting it in the slot. Those are their 3 power play goals. 2 against a below average goaltender and 1 right off the draw. Hey, whatever gets it done. Kick that puck in the net on the power play, as long as it's not distinct. Use your chest. Use your head. Header that thing. Can you use your head? I feel like I've talked about this with people, and I can't remember what they've told me. Use your head. Whatever it takes. Bad goalies. Right off the draw. Put a blindfold on. I don't care. 3 of 11 is 3 of 11, damn it. Hell yeah. So let's see if they get one on Friday night against Nashville. The way it's going right now, which overall is really well, let's keep that in mind. But why does it feel like something in the near future is going to come down to that damn power play? Like they could lose the Nashville game on Friday night because of the damn power play. Got to get to 4. Got to get to 4 on Friday night. So that's your game, folks. That's your ball game. That's how it went down. Avs lose 4-3 in overtime. Raj out sick tonight. I was wondering if DMAC was going to come on from Ball Arena, but he's sick too. That's right. He did his show at his little house studio today. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for chilling with me, everybody. We appreciate you. I appreciate you tuning in, commenting, enjoying the best team in the NHL. Still very much so. That's what this team is. Another cliche for you. Can't win them all. No, you sure can't. All right. We will talk to you on Friday night for the Avs and the Predators after the Avs and the Preds. Should be a good one. I'm a big fan of Friday and Saturday night games. Just good juice, good energy. Everyone stay good, stay safe. Tune in after that game. We'll keep you company. We'll keep you occupied. We'll have some fun. Hopefully the vibes are really good. You know, one of those good Avs win. I don't care. Get it done in overtime. Give the Predators a point. I don't care. Whether you blow, any win is good. It's going to be a fun one if they win. I feel it on Friday night. So we'll have a party, a little Friday night weekend or mid-January party. All right, we'll talk to you Friday night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.